In this video, we're going to describe Multimedia Science's Teacher Tools application, the sound effects software. This software allows you to create groups of 5 sounds, which you can then load to use for a number of different applications. You might just want to have some fun sounds to play as students are answering questions. We'll take a look at that in a minute. You might want to have a piece of music that plays for a given amount of time so that students will know when that stops, that it's time to look up and pay attention. Or you might even want to record some directions for a day when you know you're going to be out and you might have a complicated lesson plan that might be difficult for your substitute. We'll also be looking at a sound program known as Audacity, which can be very useful for creating and modifying your sounds that you can use with the sound effects software. Let's start with installing the software. When you download the software from the Teachers Pay Teacher site, you will see an install file, install soundeffects.exec. You'll run that exec file and it will install the program on your PC. Note that it will install it in a directory, and this will be important later. The install program will create an icon which you can then use to start the software. Okay, the first thing that you can do is to play sounds. So let's go to the Play Sounds button, and you can see that there are some pre-made sounds that are already available. So this is just an example of the kind of sets of sounds that you can create. So let's go back to the main menu and set some sounds. And you can see here is a menu that will allow you to customize your sounds. And let's load a sound file. So you can see there are a number of different sound files. They're all .snd, so that tells you it's a sound file. Let's look at the yes and no. You can see that here are the words, and these are the file names down here. And then we can go back to the main menu, play sounds.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
So maybe you're asking questions to your students.
Houston, we have a problem. No, you're doing it all wrong.
And you just want to add some humor. Make the classroom a little more exciting. So that's the easy way to use the sound effects software. Notice there's a stop sound button here just in case maybe you don't want that sound to keep on going. You could also click on the loop button, which means that
No, you're doing it all wrong. No, you're doing it all wrong. No.
So it'll take whichever sound you're playing at that time and just keep on looping it over and over again. So let's go back to the Set Sounds menu, and let's create our own set of sounds. So we're going to go to the file selector, and you can see here is a number of different sounds. They are all in the sounds subdirectory under random sounds and then multimedia science. So this is where the sounds have to be placed if you want to be able to use them with the Sounds Effects software. Let's see, let's just take this all wrong and we'll say open. And you can see that here's the all wrong. So let's just type in all wrong. Let's go back again to the file selector. So note that you need to choose the spot that you want the new sound to be in. And let's choose the I'll be back. And we'll change this to I'll be back. And we could proceed to do the same thing with our 5 possible sounds. And then what we would do is we would save the sound file. And I'm going to call it our new sounds. Save it. And then if we would go back to the main menu, play sounds, you'll see that the sounds that we created are there. And then if we would go and load a sound file, let's load the microphone one. And then say, oh, that isn't the one I wanted, and go back and load the our new sounds. You'll see there is our sound, that sounds that we created back again. So that's how you go about creating sets of sounds and saving them. So obviously there's lots of different sets of sounds that you could make, literally hundreds. And then they're available at any point to load those files and then use them. Notice that you can find this information by clicking on the Help button, and it will describe all of the things that we just went through. So the next question you probably have is, well, where am I going to get all of these sounds? It turns out this isn't all that difficult. If you go up on the web, there are literally thousands of sounds that are available. I would try to get .wav files. They work the best. Search for the specific sound. It could be sheep making noise or animals making noise. Virtually any sound that you want, you can probably find it on the internet for free. If you have very difficult to find sounds, it's possible that you may have to find a site that's a paid site, but I've never had to do that myself. Now, as I said, you have to make sure that the sounds are in the same folder as the other sounds so that the sound effect software can find them. And that's one of the reasons that I added the sound finder to the program. And this is very much like Windows Explorer. But the nice thing is that when you find your sound, it will then automatically send that file to the sounds directory. So let's say we were looking for some sounds and we had placed a sound on our desktop, which is something I like to do. And here it is. It's dreamy.wav. First of all, we can play the sound. And then we can copy that file to the sound directory. And then we can go to the sound directory and we can see that, in fact, here are all of our sounds. And let's see. It's dreamy. Oh, there it is. Dreamy.wav. So we've copied it from the desktop into our file, which means that now we go back to the main menu, we set sounds, we go to our file selector. You can see here is our dreamy.wav. Note that if we go back to our sound finder, one of the nice things is once we go to our sound directory, we can use this to play our sounds and see which sounds that we have available. and so that can be very useful. It also means that you can get to this directory very quickly without having to search around for it. There is a help menu again, which will talk about all of the things that I've been describing here. Notice that you can use WAV, MP3, AIF, and AU files. So all those sound files are supported. Okay, I'm going to go very quickly here to set sounds. I'm going to load a sound file. Let's just take our some sample loops, and you can see here. So these are some longer loops. So this is one of the sets of sounds that are included with the software. So you might want to use these to have a set amount of time for students to work on a problem. Some really light background music, and after 20 seconds or 40 seconds, the music will stop and students will know, hey, it's time to pay attention again to your instruction. So what you can do is you can take these and you can loop them and then set a timer. Let's just say, 10 seconds. So now when we use So there's an easy way to set up a timer, a musical timer for you to use with your students. Again, note that there's a help screen which talks about all of the buttons, the timer, how to set up everything again that we just went through. Those sounds that I just played for you, I found on the internet. Now, it's possible that you might want to take a piece of a well-known musical song that you now have a copy of, a CD. You might want to take a part of your voice, talk for a couple 30 seconds or so to play for the students. Again, we talked about the possibility of preparing some kind of notes, audio notes for your substitute so they don't have to try to fumble through. If they don't know your material, fumble through the directions, or you don't have to write them out. You merely sit down, talk into the microphone, make 5 or less, or even more, because then you can have the substitute open up the set of sounds and then play your directions to your students one at a time as needed. So in order to do that, you could use the Windows sound player. Not a very good piece of software, unfortunately, but there is a free audio program known as Audacity. You can simply Google it, put in free Audacity download, and if you do that, you'll be able to download and install the program. It's a wonderful program, and let me show you what it looks like and what you can use it for. Okay, before we start, and probably one of the most difficult parts of using the program is just getting it set up so that you can do your recording. I have a HD Pro webcam, and so I'm using that microphone. You're going to have to choose, the program will pick up all of the possibilities here. You will have to choose the one that you have on your particular computer. If you have a laptop, you will have a microphone and it will show up in this list. So I'm going to pick the microphone for my webcam. Okay, let's say we had a piece of music that we found somewhere. We just wanted to take a little bit of it. I'm going to use the dreamy.wave music that we had before, and I can go to the record button and then I'll click on the stop button. So here's the record button, the stop button. I'll turn off the music and then we can play it. Now sometimes, if you don't have the recording level set up properly, you can see by the fact that this is the waveform of the sound, it's not filling up, it's not loud enough. So what I usually do is you can go back and increase the sound, but it's easier to just go to effect and normalize and say okay, and now you'll see that the sound will be much better. And then we can just go File. We'll export the selection as a WAV file. We'll give it a name. We'll call it our music. We'll save it to the desktop. You can also put in some other information if you want to, say exactly what this particular piece of sound is going to be used for. And there it is. We now have a WAV file that we can then import into our sound effects program. Let's try talking into the microphone. I'm just going to get rid of this. This little X will have you essentially start over, and I'm going to record. Hello, class. This is your teacher talking, and I'm asking you, please give the sub today your full attention. I will be giving you directions by talking to you, and the sub will be playing my voice, so there'll be no questions that you should understand what to do during this period. So let's play that. Hello, class. This is your teacher talking, and I'm asking you, please give the sub today your full attention. I will be giving you directions by talking to you, and the sub will be playing my voice, so there'll be no questions that you should understand what to do during this period. Okay, so you can see that hopefully you do a better job than me just talking off the top of my head. You can write yourself some quick notes before you you do the talking. But I think you can see that if you had 10 or 15 of these, you should be able to tell the students exactly what you want them to do and take a lot of pressure off of your subs back. Okay, then we can go back and file and export this again. And I'm going to call it sub 1. Now there are a number of special effects. If you want to get a little more funky, you can fade in, you can fade out, you can change the speed, make it sound kind of funny. Phaser, these are just, you can fool around with this all day because it has so many interesting special effects. If you had some noise in the background, you can remove that noise. I'm just going to put in some echo. And let's see what it sounds like. Hello, class. Hello, class. This is your teacher talking. I'm asking you. Well, that probably wasn't terribly effective. So obviously you have to take some time to and trial and error to come up with the correct special effects for your audio takes. If you don't like what you did, you can go back to edit here and you can undo echo, which will take that away. I was actually looking for reverb, but I don't see it here. I'm sure it's here somewhere. You can see that there's, my God, there's so many things that you can do. So anyway, you can play around, make a number of these to use with your classes. Should be lots of fun. Okay, let's close out of there. We'll need to change the chain. We'll go back to the sound effects. And let's set some sounds. I'm going to load a sound file. Here's the microphone. So here's just some things that I did very quickly.
Attention!
So there I changed the pitch. If you don't want your students to know that it's you. Good morning, class. Today your assignment will be, I'll be back. So again, lots of ways that you can use this, and then if this was, maybe you could call this sub file 1, and then you could have one said sub file 2, sub file 3, and have a whole list of again directions to your students during your class. So I hope this has given you a good background on exactly what you can do with the sound effects program, and also exactly how to do it. If you have any questions, feel free to go up to the Teachers Pay Teachers Multimedia Science site and email me. I'll be glad to answer those questions. So yes, I almost forgot. Here is the URL to get to the Multimedia Science Teacher Pay Teachers site. So I hope this has been helpful. Have a good day.